Ladies and gentlemen, move directly into a panel discussion which will put in focus cash, currency and code, how technology drives retail growth. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished panel on stage. She is Partner Consulting, Deloitte India. Please welcome our moderator, Suja Savio. Come on, guys, we can do better than that. Yes. Thank you so much. He is Chief Information Officer, LuLu Group India. Please welcome Anil Menon. He is Director of Rewards and Merchant Services. He is Senior Vice President, Sai Silks, Kalamandir Limited. He is Chief Technology Officer, Hippo Homes. Please welcome Ranjit Satyanath. And ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together in a collective round of applause for the entire panel as I hand over to Suja Savio, our most erudite moderator.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for your lovely patience and for...
Oh, sorry. Just a moment. I seem to have missed out one of our panelists. My apologies. He is Chief Revenue Officer, Pine Labs. Please welcome Navneet Nakra. Okay, and for that reason, please give him an extra warm round of applause. Thank you. The last person standing always gets the biggest cheer. Over to you.
So does Navneet get an extra prize for entering? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being a lovely audience and for waiting with us. Without further ado, we'll get into the topic right away. India is slated to be the third largest consumer market by 2030. I think a few of you have been attending sessions today on our thought leadership. And our journey as retailers towards that is paved with both good intentions as well as a lot of work on the digital transformation that we are doing. Advancements in foundational technology have enabled retailers to operate very differently from what we thought 10 years ago. They're investing in reliable infrastructure options, distributed data platforms, real-time, innovative solutions to get better associate experience, customer experience, and therefore a better bottom line. We have an esteemed panel here to share with us their insights. They're leading at the forefront at their respective organizations, and we are privileged to have you all as part of this panel. So I'm going to go around with a few questions that we have in our minds. When we start, maybe a sentence about yourself, when you begin, the answer would really help put it into context for the audience. So I'd like to start with Anil Menon. Anil, during COVID, consumers got used to doing a lot of shopping online, right? And even those who did not prefer it earlier. Now, post-COVID, have you seen a return trend back to the store? Not just because, markets are open, but because there is a general trend towards that. So,
thank you. And my name is Anil Menon. I am the CIO for LuLu Group India. Yeah, for sure, there is a rush of... There's been a rush, and now it's coming to a more stabilized run from the customer point of view. While during COVID, all were locked down, all were locked in their places. They had a revenge shopping and so on and so forth. They put a lot of jargons to that name, right? Post which now we see a very stable walk-in into the retail stores, into the malls and other locations of ours. Largely because one, as a human, we need to connect, we need to be there, and so on and so forth. Also, the retailers have done a lot of in-store work. A lot of customer experiences have moved to the next level because the expectations from customers towards the retailer have gone two-folds or three-folds or so and so forth. And to manage that seamless feature which we were giving on online or during the COVID period, people tried to bring that into the store, right? So what happened with that is the stores went more beautified. There was a lot of tech inside the store. There was a lot of empathy towards the customer, if I have to call it in that way, because we see them walking in and having their thoughts being shared and others. So there was a lot of connect which was happening during that. That also taught us one aspect is, I know that the words are very abused, like loyalty, right? But we saw the stickiness for the customer coming back to the store and talking to us. So I think, yeah, largely we had a good run.
Thanks, Anil. So actually, you brought an interesting topic on in-store technology. So I'm going to lob this off to Girish. What's changing for in-store technology today? If you could just...
Yeah. So my name is Girish. I head payments at Amazon Pay, including rewards and merchant services. So I think when you look at in-store technology, there are probably two aspects of it, right? Like one is how does the technology change for the merchant, right, in terms of efficiency and effectiveness? So you could keep finding opportunities where you can improve the efficiency in terms of supply chain, stocking, like everything. There is the other part of it, right, which is basically how does the change in customer preference, right, like now force you to kind of adopt new technologies. So UPI is a great example. So as more and more customers became familiar with UPI and they want digital payments, they started demanding that like in stores. So now it accelerates how the merchants adopt the technology. And Amazon Pay, like, we are a customer franchisee. And if you look at like, our kind of play is we consider the customer's relationship with the payment instrument as sacrosanct. And this is very easy to imagine. You have a card which you keep using everywhere, right? And then the natural tendency is like, hey, can I use my card here, right? So if you look at beyond UPI, the next set of evolution is where we actually provide proprietary instruments like, for example, Amazon Pay Later, or for example, the Amazon Pay ICICI card. So you can use that card everywhere and you get like reward points, right? Like, so if you can, in fact, you can use that card on any online site or even like offline stores where Amazon Pay QR code and checkout is enabled, you get 2% always on. Similarly, Amazon Pay Later, right? We have close to 8 million lines issued right now. And we use the transaction data which we get from merchants along with CIBIL scores to actually render lines. Now there are more than 8 million people with like more than 60,000 lines. So now these people have the relationship with Pay Later. So now they are going to different stores. And if you actually leverage that relationship, that actually results in higher sales, for the offline stores. So that is one aspect where we are bringing technology into the store, not just from improving the systems on the merchant side, but how they react to a customer franchisee like Amazon Pay kind of helping them, right, with higher sales.
You've brought in an interesting topic on customer affordability. I think a lot of the audience and a lot of initial retailers may not be really aware of this concept, and I think incorporating the whole customer affordability into the larger retail landscape will actually open up a lot of customer loyalty and stickiness actually.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Like, so now so the other aspect is like, one is to say that I have a relationship with the Pay Later, which is the proprietary instrument, but there is also an existing relationship, for example, with your bank card. So there, I think what we help is we have an omni-channel affordability solution. So whatever card you might have, right? Like there are always EMI offers or instant bank discounts. We bring all of them together. And omni-channel affordability means we have tie-ups with all the banks, pretty much, and all the brands. So the brands basically fund this affordability irrespective of wherever customer comes. So it could be any online site, like a Swiggy, Zomato, etc., where you're using your instrument, or it could be Amazon.in, which is another merchant for us, or it could be any of the offline stores. So brands basically want us to put affordability in all their stores. And they just like say that irrespective of wherever the customer comes, the customer should be able to get the affordability. And we basically bring in the bank partners and the brand partners, and we have the customer identity. So it's a win-win for everyone, right? The customer, the merchant, the partner. So I think again, it's something which plays on the customer relationship, and that's where we pride on in terms of how we play a key role over here.
Thanks, Girish. My next question is to Ranjit. Uh, this is an interesting topic, and I'm sure everybody would like to hear about it. How are you utilizing technology to lure in millennials, of course, larger audience here, but Gen Z as well?
Yeah, so I'm Ranjit Satyanath. I represent Hippo stores. Hippo is a building and construction material retailer. We also play in the B2B space. A relatively new concept in India, at least in the organized segment. In terms of millennials, millennials are digital first, and they are always on their devices. So, they obviously expect a very consistent experience on their device, and they also want that same consistency when they come into the store. So, for example, a very oft-repeated example, but I'll just say it once again. So, typically, when you have a promotion which is there online, but it's not there in store, it's a broken experience. So, we want to give them a better experience there. Secondly, the Gen Z customers are also very high on things like sustainability, ethical practices, so on and so forth. So if you're able to give them, a transparent way of communicating that what are your practices. So for example, the presentation before this where the HP representative talked about how they are one of the most sustainable devices. So things like that. If you're able to actually talk about that and tell that in brand stories that you put out there, it really helps. Then again, millennials always on social media. So social commerce is something that brands are taking to attract them to the stores.
Thank you, Ranjit. Kiran, for you, Kiran Komatla, I will just, because I think there are two Kirans on this panel. You're a part of the QSR sector, a huge part of retail. What are the paradigm shifts you are seeing in this space, and how do you see technology kind of interweaving through that?
Hi, good evening. My name is Kiran Komatla. I'm Group Chief Technology Officer for Restaurant Brand Asia. We operate Burger King restaurants in India, and we also operate Burger King and Popeyes brands in Indonesia market. In QSR business, if you see last 5 years, it's more on delivery platforms, how restaurants are able to deliver to customers. It's more on delivery technologies. We have largely invested on how to get to the customers on delivery platforms. But now there is a paradigm shift. In the restaurant, what is that digital technologies which we are trying to work on is we are trying to make more restaurants into in-store digital experiences, like introduction of self-ordering checkouts. So the customers are more used to check out by themselves rather standing in a queue in front of a point of sale. So they can have their own choices, not rather influenced by cashiers. Generally, if you go into a QSR, they will be suggest to selling from the cashier side. But if it is in a self-ordering kiosk, the customer can choose his preferences by themselves, and it's more intuitive and it helps customer to explore the options. The other way is how we are trying to do table services, every table having some QR code, scan it, and try to, as he rightly mentioned about digital payments extensions. There are so many banks, there are so many wallets which are offering some kind of coupons which can be used by using the mobile app experiences. And mostly if you see most of the Menon communication communication within the restaurant is being more of digital, and we are trying to make a store with more digital touch points to the customers. And this mutually helps. We also know the customer. In the traditional way of point of sale business, when 3 or 4 customers standing in front of a point of sale, you can't take the customer information, bringing them into a loyalty program. But when someone at a self-ordering kiosk or using a mobile, we know the customer. So compared to other retailers, QSRs are a kind of retailing space where you will not know your customer, because it's a quick service restaurant. You can't take much time and understand the customer. So this digital technologies within the restaurant help us to know more large number of customers who are coming and what is their preferences, choices, and accordingly we can create dynamic menus, and we can address the customer need as very personalized as possible.
Thank you, Kiran. I'll now direct my next question to Kiran from PMJ. Gems and jewelry is expected to touch 145 billion USD in India by 2030, right? That's a massive number. What are the tech trends you are seeing shaping this, and what are you looking at?
This is Kiran from PMJ Jewels. We are a Hyderabad-based jeweler, and we are there across South India. So yes, so the number that $145 billion you're talking about, it is close to double, more than double of what it is right now. And that's a kind of number that is expected to be there. And I think that will play out, the majority of that will play out more or so from the perspective of scale that will come into the sector, which is transforming right now as we speak, from unorganized trade to organized trade. So if we see right now, 1/3 of the jewelry industry, gem and jewelry space is already organized. From that space, if we see, then it is gradually taking a lot of aspirational thoughts are coming into play, where the consumer is changing from a price-driven market to a value-driven market. And that is a major shift which we are seeing in the consumer's thought process, which is actually giving a very good boost to the market. Though India is always a saving economy, but there is a play for a credit economy as well. And there is a lot of, the payment technologies that are there, or maybe there are NBFCs that are going to play a very important role, because that is where the shift is happening, is what we are seeing. Apart from that, when we think about scale, the technology has to come in, and especially because it is a very high capital intensive industry, in terms of optimizing inventory, in terms of optimizing the operational processes and all of those things, technology is going to play a very important role. Most importantly, we talk about assortments at the store, or maybe forecasting the kind of sale that is, forecasting sales by way of AI technology, forecasting designs, what we are going to sell in the future. Those are all going to play a very important role. As the input costs keep going up, the whole point is, how can we bring in more technology, how can we bring in more automation in the selling process, and not to forget the omni-channel thought process in this business is picking up. We heard one large retailer speaking about how he's able to leverage technology and bring in change in the industry today, earlier today. So having said that, this is the change that is happening in the industry, and I think $145 billion is something that we will, our estimation is much more. The way we are seeing firsthand experiencing retail, the consumer, the way the consumers are responding to that, and all of those things, though there's a lot of new technology coming in by way of lab-grown diamonds, synthetic diamonds, or maybe lab-grown color stones that we talk about, and all of those things. But these are all eventually going to give scale to the industry, and the industry is going to grow.
Thank you, Kiran. Navneet, if you could take this, what impact has the shift towards digital payments had on consumer spending habits, right? And how has this influenced the overall retail strategy as a whole?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Navneet Nakra. I represent Pine Labs. Pine Labs is a 2-decade-old firm in digital payments, loyalty, issuing, and gift cards as well. First and foremost, kudos to Retailers Association of India. It's great to be in a panel of partners. I'm told many of them use Pine Lab solutions, so great to be here. I think the question, Suja, is a great one on what is the impact of digital payments today. Anybody who's running a retail enterprise here knows that COVID and demonetization were the two largest factors which accelerated the use of all kinds of digital payment services. Somebody spoke about UPI. I think Girish, you spoke about the massive advancement of UPI. Last month, UPI did 18.4 trillion rupees of transactions. India today contributes to 30% of digital payment transactions of the globe. So Suja and everybody out here, digital payment transactions are on the rise. The second piece that is on the rise is in India is the factors, the 3A factors. Number one, access to great products, whether it's online or offline. Second is aspiration to look at more premium products or more niche products. And third is affordability and payments. All of this is linked under a digital payment infrastructure one way or the other. So we strongly believe whether it's affordability and micropayments, whether it's loyalty services, which also is looking at in-store value cards, whether it's digital payments combined with your loyalty points, a lot of these things are changing the way consumers are spending. Let's take an example of how mobile phones, for example, are sold on, partners like an Amazon or a Flipkart. There are events which are created naturally, your Republic Day, your Valentine's Day, your Diwali. And then there's Great India, Amazon Sale Day, there is Prime Day. What's happening is every consumer cohort which is using any digital payment channel is coming in and consuming consumer electronics in big numbers. Now, if I look at peers out here, right from Hippo all the way till, I would say, Burger King, you are doing coupon codes, loyalty points, instant cashback, full price discount, trade-in. And all of this, Suja, is part of that digital payment framework. I think somebody spoke about BNPL and Pay Later. The largest shift which is happening in the country today, not only the millennials or the Gen Z, but overall, is the ability to accept and take credit. As I was growing up, taking a loan was a bad word. It was a taboo. कि अच्छा loan क्यों ले रहे हो? Loan जल्दी चुकाओ. But today, the consumer is saying, can I take a loan and split it into 6 months, 12 months, 24 months? So the acceptance of pay later is becoming a reality. At Pine Labs, we are seeing all of this coming through. The digital payment side on the cards, loyalty, reward points, UPI, pay later, and this entire piece around companies, large brands, payment providers, banks, and retailers are coming together. So I think the consumer is not only demanding a variety of products, Suja, but the retailer is building forward new technology for every kind of consumer. Back to you.
Thank you. Interesting. Should discuss at length again. Before I come to second, I had a specific question for Pankaj, but before I come to Pankaj, I'm just going to complete with Girish, I think, because you have a sort of time. We've talked about UPI, we've talked about wallets, right? But typical merchant platforms, you brought in an interesting concept earlier. But is there anything else you would love to throw light on from a merchant platform perspective, which is driving retail growth?
Yeah, I think, again, we talked about customers' affinity with an instrument previously. I think The other thing, what we do at Amazon Pay is we put the customer's choice in the center, right? So when you look at that, beyond UPI, one of the things we have been working on is how do we provide the offline shopping customer kind of the best experience, because customer's choice is important, and like what drives the customer to purchase is actually left to the customer, right? And then we want to kind of play that role of being the preferred payment partner irrespective of where the customer shops, right? Online, offline is just like a means for the customer. So specifically for offline, we actually created a worldwide first product in India for offline merchants called the Smart Stores program. So what this does is, if you look at the key customer problems shopping offline, you can of course look at like nearby stores in Google or any of search engines, and then figure out where to go and shop. But typically you don't know what products are there, what offers are there, etc. There's a lot of information, transparency requirement for the customer when you go to the offline store. Of course, you like the fact they're able to touch, feel the product, but sometimes you deserve a little bit more. You seek a little bit more information about the product itself. What are the reviews, ratings beyond like what the salesperson gives you. Secondly, like there could be like some offers online which may not be available in the store. And again, like the range of payment instruments or affordability instruments or offers from different credit different credit products, no cost EMI, you might just have like lack of parity, right? So we said like we should solve these ones and then give the real choice to the front of the customer. So with the Smart Stores program, for all the merchants who opt into it, right, their storefront actually gets discovered on the Amazon app. So if you want to look for like a high consideration product like a mobile phone or laptop, we have a lot of brands now onboarded. So you could search on the Amazon Pay store, discover the store nearby. We actually send these customers, so there are more than 10 crore customers who use the Amazon app, again with all these proprietary products. They actually search for the store, they can actually go to the store page, and they can actually walk to the store. And then once they go to the store, the salesperson assists them. The information in the app actually complements the salesperson's purchase. And then you get pretty much all the affordability offers, the omni-channel one I talked about, the Amazon Pay products like the Pay Later, the ICICI card, all of that stuff you get in the store. You can negotiate as you do, right? Like, and clear your questions. And then the offers apply on top of the final price, right? Like, so this, at least what we have seen is it's been a pretty big success for merchants. Merchants see upwards of 10 to 15%. We have new customers coming in. 15-20% lift in sales because now you are able to push the cart value, get the affordability in the store, and more than 90% of the customers say that they're very satisfied with the purchase because what they sought in terms of offline purchase that got met. In addition, whatever was the gaps in terms of the experience or affordability they were seeking, even that got met, right? Like so, I think that's kind of the evolution I feel of the merchant platform where we give customers the choice. And for merchants who are early adopters or real adopters of this technology, I think beyond UPI, I think there is a real lever for growth over there.
Thank you. Thank you, Krish. Now I'm getting to a different topic and I'm going to ask Pankaj to step in here. We've been talking about ESG, metrics, right? Now in retail, what are the solutions that we can talk about that you can apply in this sector to contribute to these metrics, right? There's both internal as well as external or compliance metrics that we have to meet under ESG. So can you talk a little bit about the solutions?
Hi, I'm Pankaj Zawant, founder Integrated Active Monitoring Private Limited. We provide safety, security and business efficiency solutions for retail store. And we also make retail store sustainable. So ESG is one of the important topic which is there worldwide. In fact, our Prime Minister also given a goals in terms of how we will be net carbon zero or sustainable. So ESG means environmental, social governance. Okay, so it's already mandatory on say NASDAQ where every firm has to publish their sustainability report as part of their annual reporting. Same way SEBI has also started mandating to put that for the Indian listed companies. Already good amount of companies have started publishing these reports, okay, and prominently from the banking sector, which is more on a compliance side, and they are doing very well on publishing these reports. Okay, so sustainability reporting means how you are or your processes, system, or how your governance is there, so that you can save world from the carbon emission, or you can keep this world for your future generations. So definitely, retail is one of the biggest chunk, and retail is a brand industry where if retail starts certain things on publishing, definitely it will create a big impact on the socially also. As in India, we are by tradition, by whatever the way we have our DNA, we are sustainable. We are doing certain things. Maybe in a retail already, the plastic bags getting converted into the paper bags. Okay, so such things has happened, and now paper bag getting charged. So here another innovation happens where people started making money out of the sustainability. That is a different story. But there are lots of things which retailers can do to get this information. Few information can be taken from the balance sheet itself, but definitely you need automated ways to capture this information. One of the low-hanging fruit which we see is saving energy. So every retail store has good amount of energy consumption because you want to give a comfort to your customer who are coming up. You need to light your store well. So by just implementing a processes or IoT, you can save the energy up to the 15 to 20% just by switching off and on the lights, maybe a 60-40% way, or switching on the ACs at a right temperature can give you a saving of almost 15%, which is quite high. And it's not going to just help you out in terms of your profitability, but it is going to save the world. Second aspect is you need to design your store from a sustainability perspective. So right from the boardroom, right from the new store opening, you need to see how all the equipments are monitorable and sustainable. You can reduce the paper by implementing a technology like electronic shelf label, because your price tags keep on changing and you cannot always throw the papers, right? So you can use the electronic shelf label to put that in the form of saving. Audit, where you do a good amount of travel. So travel is anyway going to have diesel consumption, and which will further create issues in terms of environment. So how you can reduce the travel? So you can use your existing systems like CCTV cameras or other equipments to do a remote auditing also. So that can further save your travel cost plus the diesel also. You have a technologies like RFID, which can further improve your store efficiency. You come to know your product, what is the shelf life which is of the product, which will further improve your governance, because electronics, so when you say ESG, is environment, social governance. How you can improve your governance, this can help you in terms of improving your governance. All this data which is getting captured, because definitely you will require this data to show how month on month, week on week, or year on year you are improving. So this data which is coming through IoT or different means, which will help you to show that we are improving. And you can use this data to publish. Now, if you knowing, at least in India itself, you have seen the stores like Puma started putting the CO2 sensors into their store. Why? Because they want to show that our stores are sustainable. We are reducing the carbon emission of that. So same way you can start utilizing this data, publish on your website, publish on your store itself, compared to last week how much energy I saved. This itself creates awareness amongst the customers also, and immediately your brand value increases. So definitely retailers can do a lot. Already the industries like banking has already started doing a good amount of things. So I feel retailers has good amount of opportunity to do this, and definitely it helps, because if you have seen the last presentation itself, one full slide with almost like 30 to 40 seconds were given on the sustainability just to show that HP is sustainable. Sir also told that youth also wants the stores to be sustainable. So you can relate your store sustainability with your brand and earn value out of it.
Thanks, Pankaj. And it also contributes to that virtuous cycle we were talking about, where Gen Z are also quite, conscious in this space, and I think that will, add to the loyalty. Coming back to Anil, we talked about, consumers coming back in hordes, online, offline, anyway, retailers. What do you see involving in the whole warehouse management space and the large supply chains you are exposed to?
Great, and very relevant where people do not generally talk about warehouse now. While you are serving the customer at the front end, there are a lot of expectation from the warehouse. So largely what has changed is a lot of visibility which has come around in the warehouse from an inventory standpoint of view. Also, they have become the delivery points just not to the stores or their inward locations, but also to customers. So terms like D2C, e-commerce, and others coming up, and omnichannel, one of the largest factor is warehouse. There is a lot of tech which has gone into the warehouse part of it, from making sure that you have the right product at the store, the way it's the same way at the warehouse now. D2C has brought in a lot of customer enhancements at the warehouse also. So largely, I think the tech has played a bigger role there. Visibility has come to a level where from the time the customer has ordered, no matter which channel, the warehouse is already been informed about it or has a pre-notion about, say that the customers, so many customers are moving in this channel, let's try to figure out this product, how does it work, and so on and so forth. So assortments also have started changing in the warehouses. And warehouses are just not just warehouses on the same old age traditional ways, but larger a fulfillment center to an experience center now than the reverse.
Thank you, Anil. Ranjit, if I may ask, if you could quickly dwell upon the new trends that you are seeing in retail. I think you had some specific use cases we were discussing, so would love to hear that.
Yeah, so for one, I think retailers are continuously trying to stitch their omni-channel journeys together, making store experience consistent with online. And we all know that for most high-value purchases, we start our journey online. So a lot of them are also working on building more engaging content. And with advances in Gen AI, it's also becoming easier to build good content. Then again, using AI, there are a lot of the customer-facing interfaces are now moving to non-human touchpoints like chatbots, and I could see a lot of partners in this conclave here who are offering such solutions. Now, now retailers have a lot of data about customers, about the customer journeys. So now it is possible for retailers to offer custom promotions rather than offering, on a POS, you generally have 50 promotions that are available, and somebody in the merchandising team decides to apply some promotion depending upon whether it's end of season sale or whether they want to liquidate a certain product. And this leads to a lot of margin erosion because you are giving promotions to people who would have bought it even without that promotion. But now with the data available and it is possible to track that customer's journey. So to give you a example from our industry, so typically when you're constructing your house or renovating your house, you follow a certain pattern. You do your civil work, then you do your electrical, then plumbing, then you get to tiling. So if a customer if you know that a customer has bought the material required for civil work and they have purchased plumbing and electrical material, then if they are looking for tiles, they are actually serious about buying that product, and you may want to give them a promotion at that point in time rather than giving them offers in a blanket manner. So that's the other thing. And when you move in store, customers now are expecting more richer experiences in the store. Again, using our industry as example, the ability to come and conceptualize or visualize how your room would look like with a certain paint or with a certain design of tile applied. These are experiences that customers are looking for. Kiosk, ordering from the store, clienteling, where the executive who's serving you is not using a device just to bill the customer, but also using it to have a very informative discussion with the customer. So these are some of the new trends that are coming, and I'm sure there are a lot of trends
Yes.
which are prevalent in other industries also.
Thanks for that. Just being conscious of the time, just kind of keep that in mind. Kiran, from BK, I wanted to ask specifically, huge workforces, varied levels of skill sets, right? How are you leveraging technology to give that unified brand experience? Because you're spread across, but you need to ensure across all of this spectrum a very unified expected experience for a customer. So could you share some insights there?
Yeah. So when it comes to running a chain of 500,000 restaurants across Pan India, the foremost thing is how your every employee in the restaurant is representing the brand, understanding their product. This is very important, and that too in restaurant the product is prepared at the store. So the training is one of the key area to the brand standards. So in this case, obviously without technology, this is not possible. I'll just break this to two parts. One is first hiring and to the till the exit of employee. What we try to do is we are trying to make mobile first models where from the onboarding to exit, the employee will be a paperless transaction. So right from the interview, everything happens on mobile, and knowing the verification process, everything is now completely online, and having a large manpower, the attrition rates are also very high. So to balance that and understand the requirement, manpower gaps, everything has been more digital, and it's been analyzed through analytics. And when it comes to the training, it's next to impossible to have a classroom training or shoulder training. So it's more of mobile app-based training programs where it will be having some kind of videos and some material which they should go through, and then there will be a short tests, and then they will be certified to take specific jobs. So that's how we are currently leveraging mobile app solutions in terms of training as well as managing the crew at restaurants.
Also catering to their short attention spans with, yeah. Kiran from PMJ, if I could ask a question around leveraging technology for managing your supply chain, especially in your sector.
So, right from say planning to procurement to manufacturing to quality check to distribution and also at the customer experience levels, at every level there is some or the other innovation in technology that has happened, which has been brought in and used. I would call this as a journey and not as a thing that you would say ki that's it, this is something that is there, but every day we learn something new in terms of technology. For example, like I mentioned earlier, in planning process, the planning process, what we used to do about 3-4 years ago to today has completely changed in terms of what used to be a price point driven approach or maybe a product driven approach, which has moved to a design driven approach. So we are able to curate the designs, we are able to forecast the kind of design that we're going to sell, and that has brought in enormous amount of efficiency in the system in terms of the cost of holding the inventory, and cost of carrying inventory has come down drastically, which has resulted in better ROIs for us. So that is at a planning level. And then if you look at manufacturing and procurement, that is where we are able to reduce our manufacturing lead time drastically, close to 40% in the last 2 years. That has coming mainly from user technology that is there. And the integration that we are able to do with our vendors in terms of supply, in terms of how we have integrated our system with theirs, which has actually reduced a lot of time, a lot of lag in the replenishment of the inventory and all, and eventually helped us actually get in better efficiencies. Likewise in quality check. So quality check also, there is a lot of technology that has come in, which we are able to which we are able to use high resolution cameras and all of that technology, which is actually helping us get better efficiencies there. So quality check has been better. So the rejection rates have reduced, and that is where the additional efficiencies have come in. And then the distribution as well. So the replenishment lead time has reduced drastically. So by way of internal, the system that we have brought in, which is helping. And lastly, in terms of even customer experience side, there is a very good scaled approach that has come in, which we are able to give a personalized kind of experience to the customer, where our technology in terms of CRM, technology in terms of our surveillance system that is there, which we are able to use through AI, that is actually help us get a better insights into the thing. So.
Thank you, Kiran. For the sake of keeping some time for the Q&A, I'm just going to ask Navneet one last question. Can you discuss the role of data analytics in personalizing the customer experience? I think all the panelists have spoken about it in some way. If you could just throw a specific light in terms of the solution that we were discussing.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I know we are short on time, but I'm going to touch upon one case study which is becoming very popular, and I think some of our panelists would agree to this. Today, when you look at data analytics on which customer is coming through the door, what is she browsing in the store, what is she finally buying, has become a science in itself. To give you an example, at Pine Labs, we run an analytics engine. It's called Pine Analytics, where you can do a store-by-store study of who are the customers who came in, what was their purchase pattern, have they come back again during the year. As an example, for PMJ, during Onam, if 100 customers came through the door, during New Year's or during a marriage season, 20% of them come back. So is your cost of acquisition going down? So I think on data analytics, whether it's increasing your funnel of walk-ins, whether it's giving them the right, I would say, visibility for the right product, whether it's converting them faster, or whether it's working with the right partner, right? A LuLu group may decide to do a Federal Bank credit card offer in Cochin versus a Burger King in Bombay will say, you know what, I want to tie up, hypothetically, let's say with an HDFC or an ICICI, they may have a stronger base. So analytics is at play. My request to all the retailers and all the leaders out here is understand what analytics is helping you drive more customers through the door and what analytics is helping you drive more purchase through the journey. Thank you.
Perfect. And with that, I'd like to open the floor for questions if anyone would like to ask our esteemed panel here.
Hi. So my question is to Mr. Pankaj Zawar. So I'm from ISG Labs, and can you just elaborate on the part where IoT is playing a role, where remote monitoring solutions can improve retail experience for customers, and how the business can grow in such a ways?
Pankaj, you want to take that question?
So I think, if, as you know, the India growth story is there, and India has to grow, retail has to grow. Okay, so as number of stores are going to get opened more and more, definitely there is going to be a challenge in terms of doing the operational management, which is one of the tough tasks. And by implementing the technologies like IoT, you can try to get the information centrally and manage centrally, which will help you definitely to improve your operational efficiency, which is very important. Okay, so there are technologies available where operational efficiency can be improved by managing your energy consumption, by monitoring your CCTV, fire alarm. In fact, we have seen lots of stores where almost 40% of the fire alarm systems are not working. We have seen malls getting a fire, and the end cause was the fire alarm system was not working. So remote monitoring definitely helps a lot in terms of improving these the safety related concerns, security related concerns, and definitely the operational efficiency related concerns. So yes, IoT will definitely play a role, and on the ESG front also, IoT plays a big role to capture the information rightly.
I hope that answers. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so with that, then I would like to thank all of you for spending this time. Thank you very much. I think, apart from everyone else, I was quite mesmerized by the whole discussion. So thank you for enriching our session here. Looking forward to catching up. Thank you.